Good evening, everyone. So this is my name is Harsh Anandani, and I am a mathematics faculty, and I have made this PPT on three-dimensional geometry. Okay. So basically, first of all, we have this. What do you mean by three-dimensional geometry? So it represents the science of studying the points in terms of three axes, namely x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. Okay. So if we go to the second slide, we have that this formula is used to find the distance between 2 points. Okay. So basically, in this slide, we are trying to find the distance between 2 points. Okay. So in order to find the distance between 2 points, we have a point P, which is x1, y1, z1, and a point Q, which is x2, y2, z2. So if you want to find the distance between these 2 points, we apply the distance formula root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square plus z2 minus z1 whole square. So this I have also shown with the help of this example. If P point is 1, 2, 3 and Q point is 3, 5, 2, so I have applied the distance formula like this. Okay, continuing ahead, what do you mean by direction cosines? So direction cosines is another concept. Direction cosines, basically they are always defined for a line, and then I've defined that if suppose there is a line and it makes angles alpha, beta and gamma with x-axis, y-axis and z-axis respectively, then in that case cos alpha, cos beta and cos gamma are represented by special names. Cos gamma is called L, cos beta is called M, and cos gamma is called N. These elements form the set of direction cosines. If we square them and add them, then we get the value of 1. That is L square plus M square plus N square is always equal to 1. Okay. Then continuing further, what do you mean by direction ratios? So direction ratios is another concept which is like very important when we study in terms of three-dimensional geometry. So direction ratios, basically it is a scalar multiple of direction cosines, right? So I have written direction ratios are proportional to direction cosines. So we can say A by L is equal to B by M is equal to C by N is equal to K, where K is any constant. Okay, K is any constant. Direction ratios is always proportional to direction cosines. So for any line, if which is joining 2 points P and Q, coordinates of P is x1, y1, z1, coordinates of Q is x2, y2, z2, then direction ratios are given by the difference of their corresponding coordinates. So we will have x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, z2 minus z1. Okay. And if direction cosines are L, M, N, then we can relate direction cosines with direction ratios by using this formula. L is equal to plus minus A upon root of A square plus B square plus C square. Similarly, M is equal to plus minus B upon root of B square plus C square, A square plus B square plus C square, and N is equal to plus minus C upon root of A square plus B square plus C square. Okay. Then continuing further, results related to direction cosines and direction ratios. So in the previous two slides we studied about direction cosines and direction ratios, but what are the results related to that? Okay, so I have written the first statement. If two lines are whose direction cosines are L1 M1 N1 and L2 M2 M2 are inclined at an angle theta, then cos theta is equal to L1 L2 plus M1 M2 plus N1 N2. Okay, if the lines are parallel to each other, then we can take the ratio L1 by L2 equal to M1 by M2 equal to N1 by N2, right? If the lines are perpendicular to each other, then cos theta will become 0 because theta is 90. So in that case, L1 L2 plus M1 M2 plus N1 N2 equal to 0. Okay. Similarly, for direction ratios also, if we have two lines whose direction ratios are A1, B1, C1 and A2, B2, C2 are inclined at an angle theta, then what we can do is we have this relation cos theta is equal to L1 L2 plus M1 M2 plus N1 N2. We can substitute direction cosines in terms of direction ratios. So if we substitute direction cosines in terms of direction ratios, we get this formula, which is cos theta is equal to mod of A1 A2 plus B1 B2 plus C1 C2 divided by root of this and root of this. For perpendicular lines, theta is 90, so cos 90 is 0, which means this numerator will become 0. So A1 A2 plus B1 B2 plus C1 C2 will become 0. And for parallel lines, the direction ratios of two lines are also multiple of each other. So A1 by A2 will be equal to B1 by B2 will be equal to C1 by C2. Okay. Now continuing further, we come to the concept of angle bisector. So basically, for two lines, if we have direction cosines as L1, N1, N1, and the L2, N2 are the direction cosines of the other line, they are inclined at an angle theta to each other, then this result holds true. For the internal angle bisector, the direction cosines are for internal angle bisector, I can write the equation like this: L1 plus L2 divided by 2 cos theta by 2 is equal to M1 plus M2 divided by 2 cos theta by 2 is equal to N1 plus N2 upon 2 cos theta by 2. Similarly, for external angle bisector, I can write the equation like this: L1 minus L2 upon 2 sin theta by 2 is equal to M1 minus M2 upon 2 sin theta by 2 is equal to N1 minus N2 upon 2 sin theta by 2. Okay, so these are also important results. Now continuing further, we come to the concept of straight line. So what do you understand by a straight line? So basically, straight line it can be expressed in two forms. One is the vector form and another is Cartesian form. In vector form, we can express the equation of a line which is passing through a point A whose position vector A and parallel to a vector B by this equation: r vector is equal to a vector plus lambda b vector. Okay, and if I want to write the Cartesian form, I write like this: x minus x1 by a is equal to y minus y1 by b is equal to z minus z1 by c. Here a, b and c are the direction ratios for the given line. Okay, and if suppose I want to write the equation of a line which is passing through 2 points, then what I will do, I will first find the PQ vector. So PQ vector will be equal to B vector minus A vector. Now that vector is parallel to the given line, so that will become the coefficient of lambda, and then like similar to this form I can write, but in place of B vector, now B vector minus A vector will come, because now this vector is parallel to the given line. Okay, so this is how we express the equation of a straight line in two forms. Now how do you find angle between two lines? So this also is quite simple. If suppose we are given two lines, we want to find the angle between them. So what we need to do is we need to find the vectors which are parallel to these lines. So if L1 is r vector equal to a plus lambda b, which means b vector is parallel to L1. Similarly, the other equation is L2 is equal to r vector equal to c plus lambda d. So d vector is parallel to second line. Okay, so the same angle will exist between b vector and d vector, which is existing between these two lines, right? So I can use the dot product. Angle between these two lines is given by cos theta is equal to b dot d divided by b into d. If we take the dot product, cos theta is equal to, dot product will be b1 d1 plus b2 d2 plus b3 d3 divided by magnitude of vector b is this expression and magnitude of vector d is this expression. So this is how we can find the angle between these two lines. Okay, then continuing further, next heading is how do you find perpendicular distance of a point from a line. So in order to find perpendicular distance of a point from a line, suppose the equation of line is like this: x minus x1 upon a equal to y minus y1 upon b is equal to z minus z1 upon c. And suppose the coordinates of P, the point P which is given is alpha, beta, gamma. So first of all, what we need to do is we need to find the foot of perpendicular. So we can say the foot of perpendicular is L, and suppose the coordinates of L are x1 plus a lambda, y1 plus b lambda and z1 plus c lambda. Now since PL is perpendicular to the given line, what we can do is we can find the direction ratios of PL, and direction ratios of PL will be x1 plus a lambda minus alpha, then y1 plus b lambda minus beta and z1 plus c lambda minus gamma, and then use the relation of direction ratios, which is a1 a2 plus b1 b2 plus c1 c2 equal to 0. So if we use that relation, I have written this relation here, we can get the value of lambda using the above equation, and then we can get the coordinates of L. Once we know the coordinates of L, which is the foot of perpendicular, we already know the coordinates of P, we can apply the distance formula and calculate PL. Okay, so this is the way to find perpendicular distance. Then image of a point. So image, what do you mean by image of a point? So basically image means that if we have a point and we have a line, so we want to find the point which lies on the opposite side of the line at the same distance from the line. So what is the process for finding the image? What we need to do here is we need to first find the foot of perpendicular, just as we did in the previous slide. I explained how to find the foot of perpendicular. Okay, once I know the coordinates for foot of perpendicular, the point is already given. I can calculate the image of that point using the midpoint formula. Okay, and that is how we do it. Okay, so it's just that the first thing is we need to find the foot of perpendicular as I explained in the previous slide, and after that we apply midpoint formula. Okay. Next is distance between parallel lines. So if two lines are given which are parallel to each other, we need to find the distance between them. Okay, so I take the first equation is r equal to a vector plus lambda c vector, and I take the second equation as r vector equal to b plus lambda c vector. Okay, so perpendicular distance between these lines we can calculate by this formula: c cross b vector minus a vector mod of that and divided by c. Okay, where c is the magnitude of vector c. Okay, c vector is parallel to both the lines, so I take c vector, and then b minus a. B vector is lying on the second line, a vector is lying on the first line. So b minus a will be the vector joining these 2 points. Okay, so cross product of that, take the mod and then divide by magnitude of vector c. This will give us the distance between the parallel lines. Going further, how do you find shortest distance between two lines? If two lines are given, how to find the shortest distance between them? So suppose first line is r vector equal to a plus lambda b, the other line is r vector equal to c plus mu d. Suppose lm is the shortest distance between these lines. So what we do here is, we first find the lm vector. Lm vector is perpendicular to both the vectors, b vector and d vector. So I take lm vector as b cross d, and then shortest distance will be given by projection of AC along LM. Okay, shortest distance will be given by projection of AC along LM, that is a minus c dot b cross d divided by magnitude of b cross d. Okay, so whenever we have to take projection of AC along LM, we will take the dot product of AC with LM vector and then divide by the magnitude of LM vector. So that is what I have done. AC vector is nothing but b cross d, so I have taken dot product and then I have divided by the magnitude of b cross d. So this formula gives us the shortest distance, right? Now I have taken some solved examples which will be like sort of make it easier for students to understand. So first example is, suppose alpha, beta and gamma are the angles which a directed line makes with the positive direction of coordinate axis. Okay, then we need to find the value of sine square alpha plus sine square beta plus sine square gamma. Okay, so we already know that cos alpha, cos beta and cos gamma are the direction cosines for any line. So cos alpha is L, cos beta m and cos gamma is n. So we know that L square plus m square plus n square equal to 1. Right, so sine square alpha plus sine square beta plus sine square gamma can be written as, sine square alpha can be written as 1 minus cos square alpha, so 1 minus L square, then 1 minus m square, then 1 minus n square. So this becomes 3 minus, in brackets, L square plus m square plus n square. So this is 3 minus 1, which is 2. Okay, so this was first example. Then second example, if x coordinate of a point P on the join of Q and R, we had 2 points are given, Q and R, and there is a point P which is lying in between them. X coordinate of P is 4, we need to find its Z coordinate. Okay, so first what we will do is we will find the ratio in which P is dividing QR in this question. So suppose the point P divides the join of Q and R in the ratio of m is to n. So we can apply the section formula. Once we apply the section formula on the x coordinate, we can equate that formula to 4, because we know the x coordinate of point P is 4. So on simplifying that, we get the ratio m by n is equal to 2. Now suppose the z coordinate is k, so we can use this ratio m by n equal to 2 to find the z coordinate. Now we apply section formula on the z coordinate. So 2 into minus 2 plus 1 into 1 divided by 2 plus 1, which is minus 1. Okay, therefore the z coordinate of point P will be minus 1. Okay, and then continuing further, solve example 3, which is the third example. Find the angle between the lines x by 2 equal to y by 2 equal to z by 1 and this line. So two lines are given to us. Okay, so for solving this, we'll just apply the theory that I explained in the slides. Basically, the angle between two lines is same as the angle between their parallel vectors. Okay, so in this case, for the first line, 2i cap plus 2j cap plus k cap is parallel, and for the second line, 4i cap plus j cap plus 8k cap is parallel. So basically we will find angle between these two vectors by using the dot product. If I take a dot b, so this becomes a into b into cos theta. A dot b, we can find out magnitude of a is 3, magnitude of b is 9 and cos theta. So simplifying this, we get cos theta equal to 2 by 3, which means theta is cos inverse 2 by 3. Okay, and then the last question, that is also a simple question. There is a particle which is acted upon by constant forces, this and this. There are two forces which are acting on the particle, due to which it is displaced from this point to this point. So this, suppose this point is A, this point is B, so it is displaced from A to B. So we need to find the total work done by the forces. So total work done is force dot displacement. Okay, so first we need to find the total force by adding these two forces because it is a vector quantity. So once we add these two forces, the total force is 7 I cap plus 2 j cap minus 4 k cap. And displacement we can find by subtracting the position vector minus, means we can subtract the position vector of A from position vector of B. So that will give us the displacement vector D, which is 4 I cap plus 2 j cap minus 2 k cap. Once we know the displacement vector and the force vector, we can just take their dot product. So W is equal to F dot D. So if we take the dot product, force dot displacement, we get the value of work as 40 units. Okay, so this is how we calculate the value of work, by taking the dot product of force and displacement. Okay, so this was all I had some 12 slides related to theory, in which I explained some topics and then 4 solved examples in order to just explain the concepts in a better way. Okay, so I hope you liked the presentation and the questions and the theory part. Okay, so thanks for listening this video.